Hello. Um, First of all, I don't know why I'm doing this on my viewing channel. I had another channel in mind to be doing all this stuff on, but now that I'm here, let me adjust this microphone a bit. Okay. I seem to be stuck. Let's see if this thing comes back like it's supposed to. Did that last time too. Okay. Um, yeah, a little bit of technical difficulties. I've never used this Hangouts format before. So we'll see how this goes. I'm in here twice. Browser froze up. Okay, so the main point for this video and this hangout was MGTOW being the same as feminism. And there's a gentleman on YouTube. At least I think it's a gentleman. You know that old saying on the internet: "Nobody knows you're a dog." So could be a dude, it could be a chick. I don't know. But the main thing that keeps getting batted around within the MGTOW community, toward the MGTOW community, is MGTOW is the same as feminism. So MGTOW at its core is the rejection of social norms, social expectations, this underlying premise that you have to do certain things, you have to be a certain thing, you have to walk, talk, dress, and act like a certain thing, or else face exclusion. Feminism, on the other hand, as their dictionary definition describes it to be, is the social, economical, and political equality with men. So, pretty much on the definition, MGTOW just wants freedom, and feminism just wants equality. So we see this argued back and forth between those who subscribe to the manosphere, those who are feminists, those who have one opinion on one either way or the other. So, taking at what each group describes themselves as, those are the core tenets. However, feminism doesn't really seem to advocate for men's rights or the social and political and economical things that men have to go through. Instead, it's predicated on the fact that men are the oppressors and women are the oppressed. In this society, I just do not see it. The family courts, the way the I don't know, social climate of this particular culture, Western culture, English speaking, Anglo Saxon, Christian based culture, pretty much values men as the breadwinners and women as the nurturers. Men are the providers, women are the nurturers. Those in the feminist community don't seem to agree with this paradigm. And granted, they do have a point. Women do not have to be the nurturers, and men do not have to be the providers. Albeit, that's pretty much the way it has worked since the dawn of humanity. But, I'm a realist. One way or the other. I mean, one way or the other, there's not just one definite solution. And so I'm open to any suggestion. I'm open to any alternative to the male provider, women nurturer paradigm. But conversely, my main problem is with the kids, with the children, because biologically, on a molecular level, on a deep down primal level, why is it that men and women get together in the first place? Well, to have kids, to bear offspring. And not only do the offspring need someone to provide for them, to bring them resources, to protect them, they also need someone there to teach them how to interact with people, how to live, what's right and what's wrong, the correct way to handle yourself in certain situations, and when it's appropriate to just completely lose it. And this is where I come back to traditionally and historically, this is what has worked. So feminism advocates for the equality with men. In today's society, where and what rights do women not have that men do? And I think one of the main arguments is bodily autonomy. Women want to be able to have the right to do whatever they want to with their body. And this entails being able to have sex with whoever they want, however they want, for as long as they feel they want. And if they want to have a kid, to have a kid, or if they don't want to have a child, to not have a child. And I'm for that. I'm all for that. But at the same time, I'm wondering if anybody really understands, that men do not have that right, do not have that say over whether or not they can have a kid, except for stopping short of, do I want to have sex or don't I? And once that decision is made and that action has been carried out, there is no longer any control, any say from the man whatsoever over where, how the kid's going to be raised, whether or not the kid's going to live. I mean, an abortion, not an abortion, adoption, going to keep the man in her life or not. All of that goes out the window when you talk about sex and the act of having sex. From the moment that man busts a nut, it's no longer his priority. It's no longer his problem. It's no longer his concern, except for if the woman needs money for the kid, then he is then on the hook for that kid. In many, many situations, I do not disagree with this. If you're in a relationship with somebody and you go through with having a kid, you go through, as I like to say, you do the do. If you do the do, and the do does you, in the sense of, you get the woman pregnant, that's a decision that you as a man have made to have the kid, to have sex, to be in a relationship, to have sex, to have a kid, because I mean, vicariously through the act of having sex, you are also consenting to having a child. And this is the same whether or not you're a man or a woman. If you consent to sex with a man as a woman, you are also consenting to having a child, or at least consenting to conceiving. There's no little magical pixie fairies that, can get inside your body and tell you, and block the sperm. I mean, unless we're talking about birth control, which is hormonal. And I mean, it's an artificial means. I'm kind of painting myself in a corner on that. I mean, yes, you can take birth control, and yes, you can pull out as a man, or yes, you can wear a condom, or as a woman, there are all these options. But, if you do the do, there is no guaranteed 100% sure method of birth control that's going to prevent you from having the kid, or from conceiving the kid. So we have, on the one side, we have women. They have the patch, birth control. They have the patch, the pill. The implant, I think, is a thing of the past. The Nouveau ring, which I haven't heard much about. I think diaphragms are way, way out. I mean, same thing with sponges. But there are plenty of methods that women can use and still have at their disposal. Men, on the other hand, what do they have? Condoms, vasectomy, pulling out, which pulling out doesn't work. I mean, it's maybe in some cases, and the whole rhythm where you figure out when she's ovulating and do it between the times, and it's a big complicated process. And we know sex is spontaneous, so how that is just not going to be reliable. Or abstinence. Men can opt to not interfere with a woman sexually. That is the most surest 100% method of not having a child. And if a man does not want to have a child, or let's just put it this way, is unable to provide the money for a child, provide the resources for a child, or even additionally, if the man just does not feel like he wants children, or there are some other obligations standing in his way, abstinence is really the only answer. For a woman, same rings true. But see, we have this big debate over abortion, not abortion. Is it legal? Is it not legal? Is it moral? Is it ethical? Who should pay for it if the woman can't pay for it? All of these things. So if a woman gets pregnant and she doesn't want the kid, and she goes to an abortion clinic and she has the abortion, okay, it's her choice to do so. It's her body. It's her right to do so. I personally don't think that a zygote, a clump of cells, is just a clump of cells. It has its own specific set of DNA from the mother and the father. It is kind of its own entity. But at the same time, if she doesn't want the kid and she feels she doesn't need the kid, that's her choice. However, you must be responsible for your own choices. You must be responsible for your own actions. If you know that you want to be sexually active, this is a active decision in the mind of the woman. Then by that means, if you know you're going to do this, you feel like you cannot deal or live without this, wouldn't you think it would be more responsible to set up a safety net? Let's say, save a couple of $100, save money or whatever aside a month for a birth control prescription. Because ultimately, This is your choice. This is your choice to make. Do you want to be sexually active, or do you not want to be sexually active? And if you do want to be sexually active, are you willing, ready, and able to take care of any consequences or complications that may arise, whether it be parenthood, adoption, abortion, one way or the other? Because I will tell you, having sex is not a right. Going around and having sex with whoever you want is not a right. It is a privilege. A privilege meaning, if I were to come up to a woman and ask her for sex and was refused, and I took it anyway, that would be rape. The same thing as if a woman wanted sex with me and I said, no, thank you, I'm not interested, and she somehow had her way with me, that would be rape. So you have to deal with the consequences and deal with the priorities of the other person involved, because it was a two-party decision. However, feminists and those who are for their own bodily autonomy not only want the right to abort their child, to have sex with whoever they want, which is fine, but they also then want the government or other people, the public, to pay for it. Now, I feel personally, as I've said, it's a two-party decision. You should be getting the guy that knocked you up. You know, being a woman, you get the guy that knocked you up to help you provide for the funds needed to make the decision you need. But when feminism goes around banging drums and shouting down President Trump because he wants to defund Planned Parenthood, an organization that, yes, I understand, does not only do abortions. There are other things. There are, I really don't even know exactly what they do. As far as I know, they provide birth control and they provide STD tests and stuff like that. They are more than just abortions. But being sexually active is a choice. It's a choice made by the individual who's performed the action. Therefore, why should it be anybody else's responsibility to pay for their choice? I don't care. I really don't care that they make the choice. I just care if the choice being made is funded by their own person. They need to be their own person, their own entity, and take responsibility for their actions. This also means the man who did it. The man who knocked the woman up should pay. As long as it's his. As long as, there's a lot of things on the up and up. I mean, I'm not even talking about whores or, just big time sluts, 5, 6, 8 in a row, all weekend, every day, all day. These people are beyond fixable. They have no ability to latch onto or to be loyal to one person or another. So this is where I'm trying to get into the meat of my conversation, is feminists on the one hand, and this is just one of many, they're wanting to pressure the government to pay for their choices. Now we have the MGTOW community on the other hand. We sit back, and even before we were MGTOW, but we sit back and we look at this and we go, do I really want to put myself in a situation where I'm going to have to pay for somebody's abortion, or I'm going to have to pay for a child One way or the other, no matter how you slice it, it's either you're going to have to pay for a kid you didn't want, or you're going to have to pay for a kid you do want, or you're going to have to pay for an abortion for the woman for a kid you didn't want or you did want. So the responsibility is then relegated to the male afterwards by way of monetary funds and whatnot, or government coercion. And along with other many social political problems, MGTOW just don't want anything to do with it. There are some. We hear we have the levels. Everybody knows of the levels. At least anybody who's looked into it, the levels, the situational awareness, the levels 0 through 4. You know about it, but you still dating long term, or you still date a little bit, but not long term, but know about it, or you go monk and know about it, or you completely, as they say, ghost or go galt and completely disengage from society altogether. The taxation, property tax, anything. I mean, you make your own bread, you sew your own clothes, you make your own food, you grow your own food out in the garden, all of this stuff. So there's those different levels. But MGTOW at its core is not adhering to these social norms, these social, you have to do this or you're not this, that society pushes down on you. And so MGTOW, by not associating with women and not getting into this family courts, the divorce courts, everything else, are pretty much backing up and saying, I don't want anything to do with this. This is too much trouble. This is too much work. This is too much, for what? What am I getting in return? A boatload of responsibilities on actions I never even took. Or that I didn't even have a say in. Well, I'm kind of backing that up a little bit. I mean, if you did do, then you are responsible. But if you say no, I don't want to be with a woman. I don't want to do the do. I don't care. I don't want to be with a woman. I don't want to have to be responsible for somebody else's decisions. And this is personally on a one-on-one, me and her level, or socially as a me to the government to her level. I don't want to do that. I don't see where that's right. So how is me, myself, advocating for my own self-preservation, and this is just the abortion aspect of it. There's still the whole fact of, okay, you get with a woman and everything is going great, and then all of a sudden something goes wrong. I don't know. Her friends tell her she deserves better. She sees a different guy. You get hurt on the job and can't make as much money. I mean, one way or the other. When you get into a relationship with a woman, everything is great. Everything is wine and roses and sunshine and rainbows and puppy dog farts. And it's great. It's the best thing you ever saw in your life. And then as time goes on, and the woman realizes, hey, I wonder if I could do better. And she starts looking around, and eventually every fault, any nagging anything that she has against you or ever had against you, all of a sudden now comes up to the surface and coagulates into this conglomerate of, I deserve better, you're oppressing me, this is not what I wanted. And the guy, on the other hand, is still thinking, oh man, this is great. If I just work my butt off and go to work and bring home the bacon and, chill with her and everything, it'd be great. But, there's always this power dynamic and this power struggle in a relationship. Somebody has to call the shots and somebody has to help conform to them. It can be a 51-49 split, but somebody has to be on top. And the social dynamic of relationships dictates somebody has to be on top. But when we get a situation where women want kids, women want to be fawned over, they want to be given jewelry, and they want to be, well, not even jewelry, they want to be given gifts, they want to be given tokens of appreciation that, yes, I'm with you, yes, I appreciate you being with me, and then to turn around and get nothing in return. You're never home. Well, I'm working all the time. I'm trying to make money to provide for you. Well, what have you done for me lately? Well, I did pay the electric bill. I did pay the rent. I mean, you have food in the house. So, I mean, what more do you really need unless it's really more about what you want? Um, you know, well, you're at your job. I was sitting here bored all day. Well, a lot of men, steel foundries, coal mines, construction, sewage, trash pickup, more men die and are put in danger in the line of their job than women are. I mean, women just aren't doing the life threatening, the I don't know, the jobs that really find you in the path of being injured. And when you couple that with, I want to have kids, I want to be a mommy, and then you tell me how bad your day was, and all it was, little Billy wrote on the wall, and little Sally dropped a vase on the floor, and I had to clean that up. And oh yeah, the Mickey Mouse DVD was over, and I had to go bend over at the waist to do that. And they were hungry, so I had to heat up the oven to 350 or 450, and make some chicken nuggets. And it was just the hardest. I mean, being a mother really is not that hard. You play with your kids, you interact with your kids. It's going to be a hard job if you expect to sit on your butt and not do anything and expect them to behave. So, with all that being said, men do not want to be in a relationship where they are not only culpable for every responsibility and every action that the woman and his family makes and himself makes, but also at the same time doesn't even get to make a single decision. Because of course we have the Duluth model. Even things like, I'm sorry, honey, but we can't afford that purse that you want because we had to pay the electric bill and we had to pay the rent and we had to put food in the house, is now tantamount to abuse because I'm withholding money from her. And this type of thing, with all these troubles, with the way you can just accuse a man of rape or accuse a man of abuse and run headlong into a doorknob and then go, oh yeah, he hit me. I did no such thing. I was on the shitter. I don't know. You get this whole animosity again, toward, do I really want to be in a relationship? Do I really want to date? Do I really want to, have to deal with the possibility of getting accused of rape, getting accused of abuse, getting accused of all this other stuff? So, the whole argument of MGTOW is the same as feminism is really not even a thing. It's so ridiculous. It's self-preservation among anything else. Now, the big question, the big debate, the big thing is, well, feminists hate men, and they're just man haters. And MGTOW, they hate women, and so they're just women haters. So they're really just the same thing. But MGTOW aren't running around holding signs, protesting to the courts, getting laws passed, and you know, to make to pretty much complain about not being equal when we know we're equal. As a matter of fact, we know we're more than equal. We know women have all the economical and social and political power that they will ever wield, because people love a good sob story. People love the underdog. People love to protect and take care of those who are weaker than themselves. For feminists to turn around and say they're strong and independent, they don't need a man, and then to turn around and force the courts or complain to the courts or the legal system that Planned Parenthood is being defunded, or we have to pay a couple of cents on the dollar for our tampons type of thing, when men don't even have an equivalent. It kind of goes from small grievances to just bitching and moaning about everything and expecting everybody else to just conform. As we're MGTOW, we're just like, we see the way this is. There's not a whole lot we can do to change it. So let's just avoid it. Let's avoid it. Let's go get away from this. A lot of us don't care what women do, as long as it doesn't affect us. We don't want a woman in our life telling us we're wrong, telling us what we need to do, telling us what we shouldn't do, and then still have to face the consequences of her own actions when she decides to, I don't know, punch the bouncer at a concert or a nightclub because he said something. I don't know. Then I got to jump up and defend this woman. Which, is the honorable thing to do, right? You know, don't have a man arguing with your woman. Don't have a man belittling your woman when, you know, your woman just starts fights. So it's a risk versus reward attitude. I'm gonna get with this woman, and what am I gonna get out of it? Well, I can cook my own meals. I can wash my own clothes. I can sew my own clothes if I need to. I can work. I can make money. I can, you know, provide food. I can whatever. So what do I really need a woman around for? Well, many people say companionship. If you want to work on this, you know, as many have said, this hold hands, kumbaya, fluffy, you know, woo-woo, pseudo-scientifical, emotional bullcrap, you know, I can get just as much companionship out of a dog or a cat. I mean, you know, the cats only come around when they want attention. Dogs do too. You know, if they're engrossed in digging a hole in the yard to try to find a rat they thought was there, they don't give a damn about me. You know, they don't really base their lives on anything except what they're getting. And women are the same way. It doesn't have to be me. It can be any man, anywhere, anytime, as long as they're getting the use and whatever the provision out of it. But what am I getting in return? Companionship, as I just mentioned, I'm kind of repeating myself, you can get from a dog. You can get from a family member, you know, a friend, a mutual friend. You can get that anywhere. Sex, you can practically get that anywhere as well. You know, you can go to any nightclub, any bar, anywhere, and throw the right game to the right person, and you can get, I mean, if you don't have any standards, you can nail a chick every night. Of course, most of them are going to have to be returned back to SeaWorld by 5 o'clock, but you can nail anybody, and they're giving it away for free. They're just giving it away. It's like candy. It's like Halloween candy. It's like Johnny Appleseed spreading the apple seeds. They just reach into their magic pouch and just toss their pussy at anyone. I mean, yay, you know, go me. But do you really want to be in a relationship with somebody who is like that or has had those inclinations? If she's going to cheat on the person she's with to be with you, she's definitely going to cheat on you to be with another person. And if she's also proven that she cannot be loyal, be committed to one person, then there really is no need in spending your time and spending your money to provide and give to this woman when you're just going to end up being shortchanged in the long run. So sex is not even a big deal. You can get that mutually. Hell, you can take $150 or whatever and go to a massage parlor and get that. You can pay for that outright. Hookers, call girls, escorts, however way you want to go and do it, you pay a little bit of money, sometimes more, sometimes less, and it's a sure bet. And with the promise of sex bots and everything, which is another problem with some people, with sex bots, you get what you want and you don't get any bull crap. I mean, you can, after you're done, just turn them off, sit them in the corner, whatever. They can be programmed to just not say anything. They can be programmed to go make you a sandwich afterwards. They will do what you want them to do, and it's worth it. It would be worth it. Now, I understand women are their own people, and they're not just somebody's sex slaves, and they're not just somebody's maid. But when you get into a relationship with a person, there is a certain dynamic that must be followed. And if one person is out working all day long and providing for the household, then the other one should be at home watching over the household, keeping things clean, keeping the one who is out there making the money to keep the place possible, keeping them comfortable. Because if, and I'm not answering that, I don't know who that is. If I'm out working all day and I'm putting my life on the line and I'm cutting my hands up and my head on steel beams and stuff, and have a possibility of being killed on the job, the least that I ask for is to come home to a nice hot meal and a clean house and a warm, loving attitude from somebody who, by all intents and purposes, is not going to do anything else but stay at home. If that other person has a job, let them work. And I will meet in the middle. My first relationship that I ever had was, I went to work and she stuck around the house, played video games all day long, and then I came home, had to make food, had to clean the dishes, had to wash the clothes, and I still got shit for it. I don't appreciate her. I don't take her places. I don't do things for her. Taking all of this into account, do you really want to remain in a relationship where that's the dynamic? So, what really is MGTOW advocating for? Personal happiness, personal autonomy, getting what you want out of life, and not having to feel like you have to act or walk or talk a certain way in order to do so. The social paradigm, the social norm is, hey, man, graduate from high school, go to college, get you a nice job, find you a girl, settle down. Some people are still kind of entrenched in this American dream thing. The house with the white picket fence and the 2 cars and the 2.5 kids and, all that happy shit that we had, that people thought we had in the 50s, which, Leave It to Beaver and all that was the exception to what was going on in the 50s. If you want to talk about what's going on in the liberal realm, then that's the liberal realm is the idealized picturesque Hollywood type, romanticized thing, as where what really was going on and what we really even see today with the Trump election is that many people who were on the farms, who were working, who were getting their hands dirty, who really actually had a stake in doing things, wanted to change, wanted something different, were real in their idea of, hey, my hard work should mean something, not just go to some of these people who don't really want to work or don't really have any skills, but would still like to get everything handed to them. MGTOW is about personal identity and personal freedom and personal choice. And if we don't want to get stuck in those paradigms, in those social norms, in those expectations, we're not going to do so. We don't have to do so. This expectation of what is moral and what is right is just a social construct. You can say anything and then turn around and tell everybody, "Oh, you must believe it." I can tell you right now that I'm Harry the Crown Prince of Wales and that you must believe it. But is it true? Is it really matter? Is it really true? Can I really live without a woman? Absolutely I can. Do I have to be with a woman? Well, who said? No, I don't have to be with a woman. I can own my own freedom. I can be my own man. I can choose to talk to and to be with whoever I want to be. But when you want to compare MGTOW to feminism, feminism beats this drum of everybody must conform, everybody must stand in line, everybody must do what we feel is right because we say so. And if you don't, you're just an evil, awful person. I'm not advocating for change of anything. I'm just dodging the flinging turds that are coming at my head. I don't really even care about the people flinging the turds. I just don't want to get hit with shit. So if by dodging shit, dodging these people's accusations and dodging all of this stuff is being cowardly, then sure, call me a coward. Call me a coward. I mean, go and turn on this stove. Go and turn on the eye of your stove and look at that red glowing element and touch it. Go ahead, touch it. You don't want to touch it, do you? Why? Why not? Go ahead, touch it. You're a coward. Don't touch it. Touch it. You're a coward if you don't want to touch it. You know not to touch it because you know the nature of what it is. It's a red hot glowing element. It will burn the hell out of you if you touch it. You don't need to touch it or even to trust it to know what it is. So I don't understand what the deal is with MGTOW is just feminism. We're backing away and saying, you do what you want to do, and I'll just do my thing. Feminists are the one pushing, saying, hey, you must do what I want you to do, or else you're going to be labeled this thing. And to argue that MGTOW is feminism is a ridiculous argument. It's the same thing as saying atheists are just another religion. It's not. Atheists just do not believe in the pre-prescribed notion of this is the way it is. MGTOW also are the atheists of the social justice, the social community. We just don't believe in what you want to try to put down on us. That's it. MGTOW is self-ownership at the expense of our own bodies, our own minds, our own feelings, our own happiness. Feminism just wants to push their agenda on other people in order to make them happy. We find happiness within ourselves. Feminists have to find happiness in conformity within other people. They have to push in order to be happy. But see, we can hit a certain point as MGTOW where we'll get what we're looking for. We'll be happy. We'll be comfortable. feminists and their constant need to point out everything that bothers them and to try to act upon it is nothing more than just selfish entitlement. I've rambled on a little bit. This is the first video I've ever done. This is really not even the channel I wanted to do it on. And I've had a couple of bourbons. So sue me, whatever. Fuck you, fuck me, fuck all of us. However it goes. Take it, leave a comment, whatever. But I tried to get the guy on and everything. I guess there's technical issues. I'm gonna assume there's technical issues and that the guy just wasn't able to get on. And he can always schedule a debate with me if he wants to, and we'll do that. But you know, I was just waiting for him, and I'm just gonna put this video up and leave it up and see where it goes. Thank you, and have a great day.